What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and today I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40K. In this one, I'm going to be going over an excerpt from Lionel Johnson, Son of the Forest, because this is a very interesting book that basically retells how the Lion came back to the Imperium, how he has woken up and is now an active Primarch for the Imperium, fighting against all the Chaos Demon Primarchs. But one thing that I do want to bring out into the world, into the light, is that the Lion literally fights against all of the Primarchs in this book. It's crazy. So it's basically a warp being that has taken the image of his brothers and he's fighting them one by one. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get into the Lion versus all the Primarchs. Despite himself, the Lion's jaw drops when the figure steps out into the gentle, mist-shrouded light. Blonde hair, so much like the Lion's own, but tangled and part braided. Also, not faded with age. Ornate armor, so much like the Lion's own, but the gray of death and winter, rather than the black of night. The ferocity that lurks within the Lion's heart is mirrored here, but worn on the surface in the flashing blue eyes, and the elongated canine teeth that are exposed as the usurper's lip lifts in a snarl. Relief, anger, joy, and alarm all swell within the Lion's heart. Leman Russ? "Hello, traitor," growls Russ, and launches himself towards with hands reaching for the Lion's throat. The Lion wastes no more time with words. He has fought Russ before, and he knows that such things only end when the Wolf King is either incapacitated or chooses to stop his own accord. He sidesteps Russ's lunge, then he swings with a fist. He knocks Russ unconscious once, back on Dulan, but his brother was laughing then. Russ is not laughing now. He swats the blow aside and slams a punch of his own into the Lion's chest, his face twisted in rage. The foolish see the savagery of the Space Wolves and dismiss it as nothing more than that. But Lionel Johnson knows better. There is a calculated rage with his brother that he longs to spring forward and lay waste, but Russ usually keeps it under tight control, and only lets loose when sanctioned. He is no mindless berserker. Every action has a purpose, which is the destruction of his enemy as efficiently as possible. The Lion meets him toe-to-toe, furious concentration against concentrated fury. Punches are thrown and dodged or duck, sometimes even landing with the crash of ceramite upon ceramite. Hands grapple, seeking purchase. The Lion shakes off Russ's grip on his forearm and pivots, using his own hip as leverage to hurl the Wolf King off of his feet and onto one of the columns. "Traitor!" Lionel Johnson demands as Russ picks himself back up, but he knows better than to think he can talk his brother down. But the accusation stings. "You know that is not true. Then why does it bother you so?" Russ speaks with an ugly laugh, but it is not Russ's voice, and the shape now rising to his feet stands taller than Russ ever did. A mighty figure encased in a massive suit of Terminator plate is now where the Wolf King stood a mere moment before, the fingers of one hand long and deadly. "You are dead," the Lion tells Horus. "Russ's fate I did not know for sure, but you are dead. This is some warp trickery." His heart sinks, because even a furious, vengeful Russ carried the prospect of a future in which they might have been able to resolve such differences. But now it is Horus's turn to stagger, raising his other hand to shield his face as he does so. When he lowers it again, his features have changed. His skin is paler, and cables snake out of the skull and into his armor. "Well anticipated," Perturabo says in a voice like a leaden hammer. "A shame you lack that foresight on Diamat." "You might have at least found a brother for whom I ever cared," the Lion retorts. He boosts off of the column behind him into a flying punch, but Perturabo catches him mid-air and slams him to the ground. then balls both of his fists together and brings them down at the lion's face. Johnson rolls aside and lashes out with his legs, sweeping Perturabo's feet beneath him. But when his brother lands on his back, his armor is white, and it is the Khan who vaults straight back up to his feet. And if you had been smarter, you would have seen it coming, intones Magnus the Red. The crimson-haired giant is as tall at one knee as the lion is standing, and his hand closes around the lion's skull in an agonizing grip. The lion manages to prise the fingers apart, but Magnus's other hand punches him full in the face and sends him flying backwards. "Now I know you are a fraud," the lion spits. "Magnus never hits that hard." "The Emperor never trusted you," Dorn grates, lashing out with 2 quick punches. The lion should have been able to dodge them both, but he's starting to feel the effects of being repeatedly battered by his brothers, or at least by the being which is mimicking them, and the second lands flush. "That is why he sent you far away into the galaxy's darkest corner, while keeping me close," Dorn continues, reaching out to grab and strangle. The lion seizes one of his arms and pivots, throwing Dorn over his shoulder and dumping the Praetorian of Terra onto his back. "You think he trusted you with his secrets?" Alfarius laughs from the ground. "I know secrets you could never guess at." Arms then seize the lion from behind, wrapping around his neck and hauling him around in a half circle, but he reaches up to pry them loose and drops down to one knee to throw his attacker off again. Alfarius rolls up to his feet, no longer smiling. The version of him that had been lying on the ground is nowhere to be seen. "You never did have the stomach for a fair fight," the lion growls, and when the Lord of Serpents throws a punch, he twists Alfarius' arm around and drives him face first into the column which bears the scars of Horus's talon. The impact pleases the lion so much that he does it again, and then he tries to do it a third time. This time, however, the arm that braces itself against a pillar is stronger than his. "A fair fight?" Angron roars, throwing the lion off. He flies forward in a furious rush of blows that all of Russ's savagery, but none of the control. The lion is struck in the chest, in the ribs, in the chest again, a glancing blow off of his shoulder, and then in the face. Something hits him from behind, but he realizes it is the wall of the building against which he has stumbled. He does not try to dodge the strikes that he knows are coming, not against Angron, but throws himself low instead, clipping the onrushing Red Angel's knee and sending him head first into the wall with a crash. The lion gets back up and tries to throw a punch of his own, but it is caught in the hand of metal. "At least I knew which of my legion deserved to die," whispers Conrad Kurze, the Night Haunter. "They all did," the lion growls. Kurze smiles. "And I knew that." He fades backwards again, disappearing from sight. The lion is well aware of his brother's haunting tactics and turns for the door, expecting to see the Night Haunter swooping at him. Instead, Kurze's talons puncture his armor to pierce his rib from behind. "They called me a fiend because I terrorized worlds, but you just killed them." Kurze hisses into the lion's ear through the agony. "My reputation made planets capitulate when they heard my approach, but you dropped from the sky unannounced and burned the very soil to ash." He lifts his fingers, sparking a new wave of pain through the lion's body. "Why is it, brother, that you are a hero and I am a villain simply because I left some wretches alive to talk about me?" The lion manages to get his hands on Kurze and wrenches the claws out, then staggers away. When he turns, the Night Haunter is nowhere to be seen. "I am not a hero," the lion says through gritted teeth. "I did what was required of me by the master of mankind, the man I believed I knew best. It was a necessary part of his plan to unify and to save humanity." "So noble," Kurze whispers from the darkness. "You are a villain," the lion continues, flexing his fingers, "because you enjoyed what you did, and you did it even when you had not been ordered to." "Perhaps Father did his work too well," Kurze hisses and lunges into view with his talons aimed at the eyes of the lion. The lion rolls aside from the strike and comes up against the far wall. You can only blame the Emperor because you refuse to take responsibility for your own actions. The lion watches for Kurze's inevitable next attack. You like to say that you could see the future, but you let yourself be a slave to it instead. You never could forge your own path. He stands up cautiously. Father has not failed yet, not while I am still alive to protect this galaxy. You know nothing of which you speak. Kurze snarls, too close for comfort, yet not close enough to place. Perhaps, says the lion, but you are long dead, and I am through bandying words with ghosts. And with that being said, guys, that is the end of this excerpt, but there is so much more to this. There are a few other Primarchs that weren't included in this excerpt because I want you guys to really go ahead and read this book, Son of the Forest, because it really shows you just what exactly is going on through the mind of the Primarchs. It is a very interesting take to see Guilliman rise from his eternal slumber, and now we see the same thing happen with the lion. Now, Guilliman's slumber was stasis, so he didn't age, whereas with the lion, you see him age. He's now older, a little bit slower, but he is still a Primarch nonetheless, and he is still very capable and willing to go out into the galaxy and save both his sons, the Dark Angels, and humanity. Now, I can't wait to see these two Primarchs finally meet and what we can expect there, but for now, the next Primarch that we have coming into the fray is that of Fulgrim. So we just gotta wait a few more months to get that awesome lore. But let me know what you guys thought about this in the comments down below. Let me know if there are any other Primarchs you wish for me to cover. But for now, that's all I got for today. So again, guys, thank you for listening, watching, sharing, commenting, subscribing, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. This has been the Sound Alchemist, part of Woodmine Syndicate, and I'll catch you then. Peace.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation. I knew I never had that much to lose.